off on this like a delicious, tasty treat. This is a treat. This is a treat for all of us. Are men superior to women? Alphas versus betas.
I mean, listen, men are indeed superior than women. We are the superior race. That's just how it is.
Okay? It's so good. It's so good. Let's get started.
Men should be the stable ones. Men don't need to be crying in front of women. And ideally, they're not splitting chores. And I don't mean that disrespectfully.
First of all, I just want to say,
I don't mean that disrespectfully.
in a lot of circumstances, you don't actually immediately figure out that someone may or may not have some neuroatypicality. But I'm sorry, I've never seen this dude look another person in the eye ever. Okay? That's all I'm going to say. But and in a way that is like, you know what I mean. You don't look people in the eye in the chat either. Okay? Myself included. Shut the up. I'm just.
Yo, bro, when I walk, I'm like this, bruh. I walk like this. I never do this shit. I'm like this. Somebody looks at me, I'm like, what the fuck, man? You know? That's true.
Saying.
I think that if a
Should have probably not said that. I'll be cutting that in the edit.
woman cannot look up to you in some way, then she cannot respect you. And if she cannot respect you, she cannot love you.
That's
totally just.
the fuck up. You should fucking smack her in the face every morning for breakfast. Okay? Smackings and cereal. Because she needs to respect you.
He always talks like this. He's always like, yeah, I think sometimes you might need to beat your wife, but it's fucking fine. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's fine.
Step forward if you agree with the prompt. Men are designed to want to sleep with multiple women.
Yeah! There's nothing more alpha than being a fucking dog.
Our design is crazy. Design.
Yeah, you're fucking beta, brother, if you think that.
I definitely agree that men, want to sleep with multiple women. I think it's natural because, we have so much sperm. We produce so much sperm.
Natural, bro. You're like evolved. Fucking hell. Have some control. How is it fucking natural? It's so crazy that like red pillars are like so obsessed with the idea of discipline and accountability. But when it comes to self-control, they're like, yeah, bro, we're like gorillas, dog. We just need to fuck. We gotta fuck, bro. It's natural, bro. It's natural. We gotta fuck.
And that makes us want to repopulate the earth, basically. And so a lot of times what happens is I think that society...
No, bro, you've evolved to like a full human race. Like you're civilized, dog. Like you don't have to repopulate. Like your number one objective in life shouldn't be to repopulate.
is telling men not to do that.
I think the funniest part about being one of these alpha dogs is that like you are perpetually in a state of never getting pussy. Or at least the type of women you attract are going to be fucking gross. Okay? Don't get mad at me. Don't say that it's misogyny. Women can be gross too. Okay? They can't. These guys get girlfriends who can't drive from DUIs. They get on the way home from work. You got to go for the cool girl that can drive and also has a ton of garbage on the passenger seat of their car. They need a boyfriend's feet on that garbage. That's so specific. Oh God. Oh my God.
For survival, you need lots of kids. So someone's pregnant.
I just want to point something out once again. Obviously, appeal to nature is a fallacy because like the entire existence of humanity is about overcoming like our natural instincts or whatever. That's like at the basis of building society. There's nothing natural about skyscrapers. You know what I mean? I talk about that all the time. There's nothing natural about flight, Nothing natural about dominating nature. That's at the heart of being a human. So the idea that like, oh, this is natural is really stupid, especially when you consider that like a lot of things in nature are super fucking gay and super, I guess, unnatural. That's number one. Number two, anyone that says they're alpha are not alpha, okay? I don't know what alpha even fucking means. I have long considered that like alpha or masculine.
I think it is. I think being unnatural is natural, okay? That's it. Alright, and you've evolved. That's it. We're evolving as humans, and the more we evolve, we dominate nature more. Okay? And being like a fucking goddamn gorilla and being like, no, I gotta fuck, bro. If I don't fuck, what's the point? Like, that's fucking uncivilized. Small dick energy.
Traits are always just a substitute for confidence. Like they're just talking about confidence and leadership, just ascribing positive values to these concepts. But let me tell you something, okay? No motherfucker who is like truly a confident person is going to go out of their way and be like, I'm so alpha dog. You're not going to say that. If you have to say it, you don't have it, okay?
I'm of the firm belief that it is important to position yourself as a man to have the capacity
I
to...
don't think that's true. If you have it, you'll say it. Like, I don't know what the fuck alpha is though. I don't know. I don't know, bro. What's alpha? I just don't know. Okay, so it's pointless.
Be with as many women as you possibly can.
Being able to fuck as many women as possible is like what my primary goal is. It's like, dude, what are you saying? Here, I'll use terminology that you use. You're putting pussy on a pedestal. You have made it your life's mission at that point. Just like be a normal person and treat women like they're human beings, okay? Because they are human beings. What the fuck?
I was taught not to be with multiple women, especially when you're in a relationship, right? It's like, it's better to grow together with somebody than multiple people, which I totally agree. But I think in the dating terms, it's like, there's nothing wrong with being multiple women. Are we naturally made to just always be with one person?
Could you just shut the fuck up about nature? Oh my god. It's like naturally made this, naturally. Shut the fuck up, bro. It's like, shut up. Just be normal, okay? Oh my god. Like, you just want to date a lot of people, you want to experiment, just say that. Like, why the fuck do you have to go to nature? Okay? Like, biologically? Like, in anatomy? Like, shut up. Fuck me, dog. Nothing that you motherfuckers say is like natural shit. Just shut up.
Person. It's like, if that were true, then these first thoughts of being with another woman, even though I'm in a committed relationship, would never occur. But it comes up once in a while.
If you have choice, you should be able to do as you wish, particularly if there's no deceit.
Exactly.
It's the lying.
Okay, that's kind of woke. He's right. It's like, don't lie. If you want to fuck other people when you're in a relationship, just like be open about it. And if your partner consents to that, then great. These guys are poly, okay?
Sure, but even then, it's like, here's the problem. The problem that I have with these people is not their morals. It's more of their understanding of like, it's biological for men to be a certain way, and the way they try to force these ideas of this is how a man is supposed to be, when it really isn't, and it's not natural to cheat. It's not natural. It's like, these ideas are natural. You could do it. You know what I'm saying? Same way, it's like liberal shit isn't natural. Like, really, transgenders aren't natural. But you could do it, you have the right to do it, and I'm not gonna judge you. That's it. Okay, like, you could cheat on people, you could be an awful person, you could be an awful human being, be a rude motherfucker, and it's cool. Like, I'll respect you being that way. It's cool. It's natural. I mean, it's not natural. Okay, it's cool. Go ahead though. Like, you're allowed to do it. Like, things don't have to be natural for you to exercise them. Like, and the idea that they're trying to somehow seem to make things about like nature is highly telling of their overall ideology. You know what I'm saying? I don't know.
They're such alpha dogs that they can't admit that because that's gay. Being poly, what is that, like pan? I'm fucking bitches on the side.
The problem is you have guys who are monogamous, but they're monogamous because they're forced to be monogamous. In a way, meaning that they have no choice because they don't have the skill to attract multiple women.
Yeah, unlike Mr. Lucario, who definitely has the choice and the skill.
My friends would always try to encourage me to like hook up with girls that were on to me, but I wasn't really like into it. It made me feel like weird, like there was something wrong with it. And now I'm at a point in my life where I feel like I'm only having sex with multiple women, so I'm not weird. So I'm quote unquote normal.
Where are they finding these fucking people, dude? Where do they find, oh my God, dude, what? Let's put a bunch of fucking roid donkeys.
That's what I'm saying, bro. Like, if this guy was like, yeah, it's natural for me to be this way, it's like, no, it's not, dog. You're just choosing to be this way. Like, I don't know why people try to objectively, they try to, in some ways, morally justify the ways that they are as a person. Like, sometimes when you're progressive in some areas, you're so progressive that you are doing things that society would normally do, right? So you are sometimes going against nature, you're sometimes doing whatever the fuck you're doing, as long as it's like not highly morally corrupt, you're doing whatever the fuck you want to do. Like, you don't have to attach it to the idea of it being natural. Like, if you're a fucking red pill dude who fucks a lot of dudes, who fucks a lot of girls, that's what you like doing, that's like your hobby, cool. Don't fucking attach it to like biology. Oh man, like, you know, in fucking human biology, it's fucking nerdish, dog. Nobody cares. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't do it. Is what what I'm saying.
Who at least have like normal attire, even though it's like kind of funny, against like a bunch of people that we found that look absolutely crazy. This is the chief of police of the Portland DMZ.
I've been with multiple women and I've been with one woman, and being with one woman is just so peaceful. As far as like telling young men that they're born this way and that they should feel this way, it can really not do damage, but just sort of make you second guess things about yourself.
Submissive women
Chill
are
out,
more
Rogni.
The problem is, bro, you can't have these opinions. Like, you can't tell what's peaceful. Like, it's peaceful for you, not peaceful for everybody. So, you know, like, both sides are always going to be wrong. Like, when somebody starts giving you advice on life, they're always going to be wrong because they're going to see it from their perspective only. So their advice is always going to be unbelievably biased, and it's always going to be wrong, you know. And this is, I mean, I'm not saying this is advice, just saying.
than dominating women.
Oh, hell yeah. You know,
Bro ran. Bro really ran, dude. Oh, hell yeah, brother. It seems like such a weird thing to just like state. All I'm saying is I've tried it. I've tried both, okay? And I don't like it. I don't like being dominated. He's a well-established misogynist and S-shamer. Be careful.
The fuck? Who the fuck is dominating Hasan? Jesus, aren't you like 6'5"? How the fuck do they dominate you, dog? How do they pick you up? Isn't that what it is? Domination? Isn't that like when she picks you up and like starts humping you and shit? I mean, air humping you? Is that a thing? Air humping? Yeah, I gotta stop. This is some virgin shit.
What? Who? You mean to tell me that the dude who looks like the personification of a used car dealership owner wearing the tightest, bluest suit of all time is a well-established misogynist? Stop. That's crazy.
My shirt says submissive women are sexy. Okay, so
yeah, it's true, man. It's true.
So alpha, they need a woman to be submissive because dominant women scary? No, like, first of all, for the record, I don't like this dynamic either because women can be dominant elsewhere, but not in the bedroom.
I really want to know what dominant woman is. Like, is it like the one that's very loud? You know, how do women realistically dominate men? Like, how? You know? Emotionally, maybe. You know? It's the idea of, like, I don't know. It's stupid to me. It's the idea of just because, just because a woman is like more verbally accurate in describing how awful of a person you are, does that mean she's dominating you? Like, which is worse? Is like a woman mentally dominating you, or like a woman emotionally abusing you, or a man like fucking punching you in the face? Which is worse? Like, I kind of want to know.
Like, I'm not one of these dudes who's like, oh my God, I'm fucking secretly deep down terrified of a woman who is like independent, a woman who's successful, any of those things. I was just simply talking about bedroom antics in general. But if they're talking about like submissive women as just like a thing, it just feels so weird. It feels so weird to specify that, like as though women aren't human beings that are multifaceted and unique. And, you know, it's so incredibly one-dimensional that I didn't even fully understand what the fucking question prompt was, because like the only time where that would be important is if we're talking about, you know.
I genuinely, I'm still on this fucking note. Like, how does a woman dominate on the bedroom? Like, how does that happen physically? You know? This is some virgin shit, you know what?
Your sexual preferences. Like, what the fuck does submissive women, what does that mean?
One of the most beautiful things about love is being able to fully take care of a woman in every way, whether that's emotionally, protecting, providing, everything about that. Like every fairy tale that was ever written for all of time was about a man saving a woman from a castle and a dragon, right?
Yeah, I love that shit. That's my favorite. I love watching.
All jokes aside, dog, all virgin jokes aside, like, for real, these motherfuckers are fucking losers, bro. They're losers. He's like fucking, he's literally talking about, he's like talking about a woman like a 10-year-old, dog. He's like, I want to save her from from the sharks and the monsters. You know, they're like so underdeveloped mentally. Like, I know I'm a virgin and I be saying some virgin ass shit in the stream, but fuck me, dog. You literally just said, I want to save her from the monsters. Lord have mercy.
Watching children's TV shows and making inferences about society off of them. You know what I'm saying? And also, if I see children's TV shows that don't show that back to me, I get mad, which is very alpha dog to do. Alpha dog.
I believe a woman can admire a man and it's very, very, very healthy. Am I saying that somebody that doesn't do that is not a man? No, I would never. But ideally, the relationships that are going to work, the relationships in...
How the fuck does a woman admire you? What is this, bro? Like, what women dominate? Like, can you have like a mutual interaction with women? Like, I don't understand this whole thing where you either have to, like, the one side is like, yeah, dominant woman. Like, I like women that dominate me. I like women that calls me a bitch. And then this side is like, yeah, bro, like, a woman has to be a slave, okay? If she, like, speaks up to me, like, I'm going to shoot her in the face. Like, why are you always in the extremes? Fuck me. Just have mutual interactions with a woman, like a normal person. You know, why do you have to be dominant or be dominated? But hey, that's your life at the end of the day. You know what? Let me mind.
Let's say the 30s, 40s, 50s, or...
Famously, relationships were much better in the 60s, said the guy who watched episodes of Mad Men, never for once even considering what women felt in that situation. One of the funniest things I've seen about this, since divorce became more normalized, you hear about men getting poisoned and dying to poisoning a lot less frequently. And I think about that a lot because I think that was probably what was happening all the fucking time.
I've worked with a lot of high-performing women that operate in this dominant role, and I work with them for the purpose of helping them be able to reintegrate with that more submissive, connected, intuitive part of themselves that really is connected to their bodies. If they were connected to their bodies.
Language is so important, bro. When a man in the Western world refers to a woman, even outside of the Western world, just right now, where we're in society, when a man refers to a woman, there's always that undertone of trying to be like, hey, like, I still think you're a queen. Trust me, like, I don't think all women are bad. There's always going to be that undertone, because, which is good, by the way, because, like, being anti-woman is seen crazy in society nowadays. So you always have to show respect to a woman as much as you can. Even if you're like misogynistic as fuck and you literally want them like dead or some shit, even then, when you want them to be like exploited and even when you want them to be like your personal slaves, even if that's your personal ideologies, just because of what we are in society right now as a fucking civilization, you still have to like put an undertone and verb and use languages that make you seem like you somehow kind of still have respect for women. And it's fucking crazy to see.
Wouldn't be as dominant, at least in the presence of men.
I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but that's what's happening. When people are like, oh, strong woman, a strong sister, you know what I'm saying? It's because even if they're criticizing them bad or good, you know, everybody, even Andrew Tate puts those types of like undertones in there sometimes, you know, just because the society, even as conservative as it gets, to the point where you're like supporting the narrative that Andrew Tate was with, you know, even if it gets as that conservative, there's still levels of progressiveness in society. Even when you attack a woman, you feel like you have to have you feel like you still have to kind of respect them and show them some type of, respect when you talk about them verbally, language. And that's very interesting to watch.
And with every woman that I've worked with, there is this deep, deep, deep desire, regardless of what she says externally, to submit to the leadership.
Yes, dude. When I want to learn about a subject, let's say I want to learn about mathematics, who do I go to? I go to a toddler, okay? When I want to learn about astrophysics, who do I go to? I go to a caveman. And when I want to learn about women, who do I go to? A guy who's clearly not a woman and literally doesn't think women have any kind of autonomy or their own perspectives. A guy who says things like, even when women tell me that they want to be independent, in my experience, not listening to their demands, I have come to the conclusion that when they say, no, I want to be independent, they still want to submit to a strong leader.
If you and your wife have like a conversation about a disagreement, and then you guys like a healthy conversation, and then she ends up being right in this.
I think that's, I don't know, what they say is, there are some women that express these things though. Like, there are some women that say these things. There are women that say, like, I want to be housewives and shit like that. There's still women that, the thing that we need to understand is that women are different, same way men are different, people are different, that's it, okay? Like, you can't generalize women and try to give people advice in, like, a general way from your experience with, like, 5 women, you know? It's stupid. Like, just stop generalizing and stop giving advices, okay? Like, it's fucking biased.
Situation, would you consider her dominating me?
No, I consider her right.
So what's your definition of like dominant? Like you always have to be right. And
No, it's not about right and wrong. It's about who's running the show.
so by her being right, is that not her running?
No, that's just her being right in that conversation.
Yeah, a good leader would allow someone else to be right. A good leader doesn't have to be right. He wants the team to win.
I don't know why they didn't just like have this conversation with like alpha dogs versus like alpha women, I guess, or something. Because like there's no women involved here to like defend their humanity almost.
I am great
That's
at
what I'm saying, bruh. It's so weird. It's so weird. Even men don't do it. You do realize women don't do this, right? Women do this. We don't give a fuck. Like, you realize that, right? If you've ever seen a woman and how women act specifically as far as it goes with relationships with men, it's like in media or even on the internet, most women are more of like, kind of don't care, you know? And the ones that do obsessively talk about men and all types of stuff like that, they're mostly talking about like sucking dick and shit. Like, I don't see a woman being, except for like, of course, feminism, sure, you know, feminism 100%. But like with men, it's much more exasperated, dog. Like, it's everywhere, in every culture. Like, a man has to somehow, a man somehow has to like prove himself to a woman to a certain extent, or you know what I'm saying, or try to have power over a woman. It's weird, dog. Jesus Christ.
sex.
Yeah, bro. Fucking yeah. I mean, it's odd. Like, who the fuck would be like, nah, man, I'm dog shit at sex. I'm gonna be honest with you. I think the alpha dogs are probably not very good at sex. Okay. Just like, dude, listen. If you're that much of an alpha dog, if you're looking for like submissive women, i.e. bitches, right? Then you're 100% sports fucking. A lot of this alpha shit comes from being kind of selfish. Understanding your partner's needs and not being selfish is literally more important than what the most common things are about.
I don't think these people see these women that they're sleeping with as partners. I think they see them as hoes. So, you know, there's that.
Sex, like, right? Like going long, dick size, all this shit. Like, no, what literally matters most is communication, treating your partner with kindness and respect, and understanding what they want.
You're kind of there to like pleasure them because you care about them so much.
Right.
Which is why like you would hyperfixate on like what do they like, what they don't like, and you can easily like adjust yourself and put in effort for that person.
And like, for instance, it's so true that you said that, because my wife and I, we have this thing we call the love menu.
He's such a hippie dad, dude. It's fucking crazy. Like, everything that he's brought up so far has been ridiculous. He's like, we got a love menu.
The love menu, because we have 3 children and they're only 2 years apart. They're in the mid-20s now, but think about it, 2, 4, 6 at home, and I'm working and she's doing her thing. We found that in our young relationship, sometimes the other person might be tired and like turn, but that's hurt feelings. That makes you kind of do this type of thing. So what we did is we come up with a love menu of like, here's the appetizers. I might not be ready for the full course tonight, but here's your appetizer because I know you like this, or here is your dessert, or here's your main course meal. And we broke it into those things. So when we do come to each other and we need that connection, it's not just like, I'm tired, I don't feel like it. It's kind of like, well, what's going to happen? We have a full course meal tonight, or we're just going to have some appetizers?
It was either
I didn't hear a word he said. I swear to God.
They're going to be like the betas were going to be unbearably fucking cringe, or they were going to be like significantly more confident than the alpha dogs. And it's been a mixture of both. Sometimes they come across as unbearably cringe, and most times they come across as like very confident.
Women should not be in position of power.
Game over. Just like his hand says.
I'm the only one. I think
Brave, dude. Thank you. Real alpha dog behavior, dude. Thanks, man. Thank you for
being in a
that.
position of power only by herself,
Brave.
but not in relation to being in a relationship with a man. When she's in a relationship with a man, the man has to be the leader. The man has to be the one that's guiding the situation, directing the
Saying, bro, like, why are you obsessed with power? Like, nothing certifies your power as a man more than like a woman, you know, submitting to it. Like, you just have to fucking do it, right? Fuck me, dog. Lord have mercy. This has to be money issues. Like, you guys have, like, I don't know. It has to be something like that. 'Cause, damn.
situation.
Can I ask, like, what's your reason behind, like, why a man has to be in the power, like, in power? Why can't a woman be in power?
Power is such a weird word. I'll say more like the leadership role. And the thing is that a man has to lead a woman. He has to guide a woman, because what happens is that when it's the opposite, she usually loses respect for him. When she's in a relationship with a man who is under her, who's submissive to her in a lot of different situations, then she starts to lose respect for him because she's looking for a man to lead and guide her.
Look, there's women for you, right? I mean, like, you're on a different scale. What I would say, some women want a guy like you because they don't want to do anything, right? They don't want to take that position. I'm around a lot of women who don't want that. They're in positions of power, not just in work, career, at home. I know a lot of them. I do business. I find women much.
Women are different. Oh, Lord. What is this? Oh, why are you so stupid? This is so easy. Women are different because they're also human. Okay? I don't know what this idea of, like, painting a woman without a woman not even being, like, around in the room is so fucking crazy to me. You guys are, like, crazier than the feminist dumb motherfuckers. I can't lie, bro. The feminist motherfuckers were not this crazy. Lord have mercy.
Much more pleasant to do business with. But when you're talking about maybe being at home, I don't know. It's just like, I think when you get into your part, your end of the pond, it can get a little bit mucky. You know what I mean? And I don't really subscribe to that as well.
A lot of these like rich millionaires are the ones that like have huge high divorce rates and things of that sort. And I think it's because they're just genuinely unhappy. Like, is your woman with you for your security, or did they actually like you as a person? And we're starting to see that, like, yeah, women want me at first, but I don't think it ends well, because after a while, like, they want you for your security. They don't want you for who you are as a person and things of that sort. And that's why we see these millionaires and all these like really alpha males getting high divorce
I wonder what his take is on this.
rates.
Money doesn't make you alpha.
Yeah, I think so.
No, not at all, man.
This guy's like a little bit more normal than Andrew Tate, which doesn't take much. Like, he's not as like, I mean, he's still deeply insecure, you could tell, but he's not as insecure as Andrew Tate, but he's still deeply insecure. And out of the alphas, he is actually the most normal and makes the rest of the alpha dog group look not as like ridiculous in comparison. Because like at first, my automatic assumption is like, oh, if you call yourself alpha,
This whole narrative and discussion just in general is very dumb. Okay. I think a group of men just like gossiping about women on camera is not alpha or beta. It's just a fucking waste of time. But it's content. But yeah, I mean, that's what I think.
well, you're ridiculous. I mean, he's actually like a
Yeah,
normal
I mean,
dude.
Me fucking reacting to it is also a waste of time. But hey, we gotta waste time because we're all bored, aren't we?
A man can just be friends with an attractive woman.
I think if you find a woman attractive, depends on, are you going to choose to pursue her or not? But for some of us, if we're speaking from personal experience, I've met many attractive women. That's not the only thing that I'm looking for. It's also about personality. So she can be a 10, but if it's like the personality is just,
I'll be honest with you, I've seen a lot of attractive girls that I don't want to pursue. Okay? I don't want to be their friends either, but I don't really care enough to pursue. That's just it. You know? Ideas are different because people are different. And people look at everything in different angles. Right?
You know, someone who doesn't challenge me on a spiritual level, emotional level, someone who also is like emotionally unavailable, like then it doesn't really matter.
This is my favorite question. A man can just be friends with an attractive woman. Nope, not capable, dude. I got that dog in me.
It's kind of true.
Bark, bark, bark.
I don't believe in giving women non-sexual attention unless we're in a relationship.
I don't believe in giving non-sexual attention to women unless we're
Lord knows what the fuck you just said. Oh my
in a
God,
relationship.
what is that?
I go to Starbucks, and if the barista's a woman, dude, I'm fucking her, okay? If she's like, hey, sir, what kind of coffee do you want? I'm taking my dick out, okay? I'm on many lists. I cannot be within 500 yards of a school, okay? You don't understand.
Most of the time, you're not going to see a man be friends with a very overweight woman. You're not going to see a man be friends with a very unattractive woman unless there's some kind of financial reward there. By and largely, I don't buy guy friends, particularly with any girl.
Because you guys just think life is all about fucking. Like, you know what? I take it back. I think you guys are not even evolved. I think you are actually gorillas, dog. Like, you actually think everything in life is about, like, doing this. Like, all your life, that's it. Just humping and fucking and having sex and sometimes making love. That's it, bro. Like, not even Andrew Tate is like this. Even Andrew Tate, to a certain extent, has, like, basic life lessons that he gives where he's like, get money. You know what I'm saying? The whole point of life is money. He kind of gives that vibe off. You motherfuckers are just like, yeah, fuck money. Just have sex, bro. Just have sex. And it doesn't matter who she is. The only way you could interact with a woman is if you're like fucking her. That's it, bro. That's it.
What I'm seeing is like, yeah, right.
Yeah, part of me really believes that can happen. But then I go back to my experience in life and my friends, and it's really hard. I was running over there in my head, like, should I sit down? But I was running all these scenarios from life experience of my friends who have said that, girls and guys, because it's not just guys, and it's never worked out that way.
A man should not cry in front of his kids.
It's not going to be popular to say this, but ideally, you're not going to cry in front of your kids. They cry to you. Is it fair? No. Is life fair? No. Is the dynamic between a man, a woman, a child fair? No. Personally, for me, I want to take that responsibility of being the one that's stronger than all of them, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that responsibility. I want that responsibility in my life.
Just a beacon of good child.
This is interesting. Okay. It's good. It's actually, in my opinion, it's actually a good take, right? You want to be perceived as a strong character to your kids. But the problem is, isn't that kind of insecure? Because now you kind of just want to look strong in front of your kids. Like, you looking strong in front of your kids isn't really giving them love or showing them love or support. So you're just doing it to look strong in front of your fucking kids, my boy. It's a bit insecure. But it's a good take, though. I accept it.
Childhood development. So that makes sense. Yeah, I'm going to look at that and go with what not to do. Okay.
Now, I'll tell you when I do cry, bro. When you see like one of those kids with Down syndrome get put in a high school basketball game, he starts nailing threes and Jim goes crazy, bro, I'll be crying my ass off. I'm so happy for the kid. It's like happy. I'm like laughing. I'm like,
wait, what? Bro, where the fuck did that come from? What a weird...
He just fucking humanized for like...
What? You know when I do cry, I cry when I see Down syndrome kids sink that three at the gym.
For some reason, out of all three of my children, that little girl, from the time she turned 13 to 17, 18, we just butted heads, right? And the relationship wasn't going to where it should be going. And I want to be close to my kids. We sat down, she was about 20, maybe 19, 20 years old. We had a heart-to-heart about our feelings and how we really felt about each other, and I cried. 7 years later, better relationship than we ever had because she saw a human part of me.
That's exactly it. When you see a parent cry, you don't see them as like weak. You see them as human, which is probably important to like adjust appropriately to the real world.
I mean, you can't be robotic to your kids. Okay, I mean, listen, I come from an African household. Trust me, I know. I've never seen my dad cry. I've seen my mom cry several times. And that's why I felt comfortable, even like, because of how my mom perceived herself to me and how she wanted to be looked like. Like, she didn't want to be, even with my mom and dad, just generally, like, there's an overall thing of like, hierarchy, you know, in most societies with parents, you know, And when you're like not crying and you're showing this so-called strong identity, this masculine man for your kids, you know, that's kind of like you're kind of in some way neglecting them from like seeing human emotions while growing up, you know.
You know what I mean?
My dad was capable of expressing emotion, not from the standpoint of being a whiny little baby. He held it down on my family. My parents are the happiest couple ever seen, still to this day.
So I think being vulnerable is very important. I think crying, physically crying in front of your kids is not ideal. This is not about an ego stroke or trying to be overly masculine. I think being vulnerable as a man is one of the strongest things a man can actually do. It's just that I don't think that crying, particularly sobbing, is going to be very healthy as the leader in the...
Okay, now they're just like trying to back away and like arguing semantics. Like, what the fuck? What about sobbing? Just like, what about bawling your eyes out? It's not very productive in problem solving. It's like, dude, first of all, crying is not supposed to be a particularly logical reaction to a situation. It's just like a reaction, oftentimes an emotional one. It's like a natural way to make yourself feel better. And oftentimes it's involuntary. You're allotted 5 tears per year. Use them wisely.
As kids, we look up to our dads to be able to, how do we react to certain scenarios? Do you feel that like, okay, like for instance, like my dad didn't cry. I don't think I've ever seen my dad cry. I've seen very bad, like sad scenarios, straight face,
My dad cried too, true.
you know, and
See, this is why we're all fucking like beta males in this bitch, because we don't see our dads cry. See what I'm saying?
I feel like I developed that as like a kid, like as I got older, like I have to keep this inside because that's how exactly just how I saw my dad do it. How would you basically like explain to your kids how they feel like they should let out their sadness? Should they keep, especially if you feel like you're not really expressing?
Fuck, bro. You gotta fuck. That's how you express everything in life.
Sad emotions in front of them.
I think probably the best thing I can do is like explain to you what my goal as a father is to explain them the truth of the world. Truly, hey, this is the truth of the world. This is how the world is.
Just depress them with fucking conspiracy theories. You know what the fuck the Clintons did? Like, yeah, bro.
Here's some competencies
Raise your fucking kids.
and things you can do to set yourself up, because my ultimate goal for my children is to have choice.
I don't think manosphere dudes love women. Every single time I've seen like manosphere people, I usually get the assumption that they just like don't really like women at all. Like not for sex, not for company. They just like straight up have a disdain for women. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true. That is what it is. I agree.